The nation is in shock this morning after a man in Pennsylvania tried to assassinate former President Donald Trump at a campaign rally in Pennsylvania last night. We are joined this morning by Matthew Schneider, who the former president appointed as U.S. Attorney for the eastern half of our state, to talk about this attack and also the extensive investigation into this. So, Matthew, thank you very much for joining us this morning, because you also have a background working in Secret Service. So what was on the mind of those agents when they're out there and something like this happens?
Well, it's obviously the worst thing that could ever happen in any agent's career, and it's not what they want to happen, but it is what they planned for. This is exactly what the Secret Service trains for, what their obligation is to do, and they are going to be going back and looking at exactly what took place. And not only the Secret Service will be doing that, we have to think about how this would take place with the rest of our government. There will be a thorough review throughout the government, including the Congress. I'm quite convinced there will be a congressional investigation and a large report that's done, similar to what took place after the September 11 events or other activities related to attempts of to hurt or harm any presidential candidate.
Yeah, Mike Johnson, the Speaker for the House, already called for an investigation into this. But Matthew, talk further about what investigators are going to be looking into when it comes to the Secret Service and the FBI's response, since this happened presumably outside the secured zone of where this rally was taking place.
So that's a great question. If you think about how this works in practice, there is a concentric circle ring around the president, and that immediate ring is where the agents are protecting the president, and then it goes out from there. When you have a reaction to this, the first thing they want to find out is, are any other people involved other than this particular shooter? So they're trying to identify every single aspect of this shooter's life. As soon as they found out who he was, I can guarantee you they were on the way to his home to find out all the activities that he had been doing there, preparing search warrants, working with assistant United States attorneys, looking at phones, looking at phone records, looking at employment records, trying to find out who his associates are. That's all things that go into this. And some of these things, there's no time for a search warrant. You might have an exigent need to get into an area where you might think that other people could be involved. So this search will be not only spanning through Pennsylvania, but across the United States and probably across the globe.
And Matthew, they're going to definitely look into everything that happened leading up to yesterday. But this comes at a very, very sensitive time when we are not only in election year, but also the public political discourse that is happening, not just in our country, but throughout the entire world. How is that in particular complicating the investigation, as well as the Secret Service and FBI, the agencies keeping their wits about themselves moving forward as we head into the 2024 election?
It's probably making it most difficult for the Secret Service itself, because I can guarantee you Donald Trump is not going to come out of the medical facility and say, I'm done campaigning. He's going to say, we're going back out on the campaign trail and we're going to do some large rallies. And that means the Secret Service has to up its game and rise to that challenge. And Joe Biden will be doing the same thing. We've got 4 months until the election. They're not going to stop. There are conventions that take place. So the candidates will continue. In fact, people might be more encouraged to go to a Trump rally to show that they are resilient, and then that they're not going to bow to this kind of pressure, which means there will be added pressure on the Secret Service and local law enforcement, who is the backup for the Secret Service at all of these events.